Hello, I'm Steve Shaw, National Coordinator of Football Officials and Secretary Rules Editor for the NCAA. And today we're presenting our first in-season training video for 2025. And even though there were a limited number of games, we'll focus on action from week 0. Now, overall, we had excellent officiating in week 0, and I really appreciate the preseason work by all officials. And let's make our preparatory work pay off as we start the season in week 1. And we'll see some plays impacted by our rule changes on this video, and make sure that you review all your rules, mechanics, and officiating standards in our first pregame. That's so important. So with that, let's get on into our video. Our first play this week is a 2-play vignette highlighting our rule change that if a player presents as injured after the ball is spotted, that team will be charged a timeout. Now, the first play we see, the quarterback steps up, throws complete, and the receiver is tackled by 2 defenders, one being number 9, and he's going to get up gimpy. He signals to the sideline and starts to come out, and then he's going to go down injured. And as we look again, the ball is spotted. It's down before number 9 goes down. So by rule, the clock is stopped for the injury timeout, and the defense will be charged a team timeout. And as we look one more time, as number 9 starts to head toward the sideline, we see a coach at the sideline. He's going to point to the ground multiple times. And I really don't see this as a feigned injury, but the team did get an advantage with the injury timeout, hence the rule requiring the team timeout to be charged. Now, on the second play, the offense throws, they get a short completion, and we see after the play, the offense is in the huddle, the ball is down, and a lineman starts to the boundary, gets to about the numbers, and then we see a coach. He comes out, points to the ground, and then the player is going to go down. Again, not really a feigned injury, but the team tries to take advantage of the injury timeout, but is correctly charged a team timeout here. Remember, the Rules Committee made the change not because they wanted to make a change in this area, but they needed to curtail the bad look of teams taking advantage of an injury timeout. It may take some time for our culture to catch up with the rule, especially at the sideline, but both plays were handled correctly by the crews. Play 2, we're going to look at the defense stemming on a play just before the snap. And as we look at the right defensive end, he's going to stem, pumping his arms and going down into a stance. This simulates action at the snap. The stem is choreographed together with the noses movement, and the movement by the defense overall is a foul. Now, I know the offense didn't react, so the crew decided not to flag this action, but this is a foul, and if we're not going to flag it, we should, at a minimum, talk immediately to the head coach and the player to ensure that we don't have this action again. Overall, in week 0, we were very solid with stemming, and we seem to be in a good place for now, but we must stay on top of this. Play 3, we get a punt. It's a very high kick, and we have contact with the return man. He's going to muff the ball, but the ball is subsequently recovered by the receiving team. But there was a question as to the contact by number 26 of the kicking team with the receiver. But as we go back and take a look at the action, the player is blocked. He's certainly influenced into the return man. So this is good judgment not to have a foul for kick-catch interference. Good alert by the crew, recognizing all this action, and a good no call for KCI. Play 4 is 2nd and 10 with the line to gain at the +42. Now we're going to get a quick pass to receiver number 5. He makes the catch. He's spun around. We rule fumble on the field, and a teammate, number 83, picks up the ball and takes off for a long gain and is down just short of the goal line. Now TV is going to show one replay, and there's clearly smoke here as it looks like the left elbow hits down before the ball comes out, but it's very tight. The offense, they get to the line, they're going to run a play into the end zone for a score, but then we announce that the defensive team head coach has called timeout just before the snap and that the previous play is under further review. As replay goes back and looks, and as we look at the replays, we see it's clear that the left elbow is down before the receiver loses firm control of the ball. So replay is going to properly overturn this to the receiver down back at the +43. Now, a couple of notes on this. With the first replay that we get here, This is a play that replay should stop without having the coach to call timeout. Certainly, this is a review we need before the next play. And after the review, let's get all the information buttoned up. We make this 1st and 10, but the line to gain was the plus 42, and the overturn placed the ball 1 yard short of the line to gain. Play 5, the quarterback drops back. He's going to throw long to the pylon, and the receiver appears to make a great catch, and the side judge in perfect position rules touchdown. Now, as we go back and look at the first replay, and it's a great shot with the handheld camera, we see that the right foot is clearly down, the receiver's going to the ground, and then there's a slight loss of possession, and subsequently he goes to the ground out of bounds after losing possession. So based on this view, this is clearly worth a stop. And we can't just clear this and go to the extra point. Remember, we have time on scoring plays, and this first replay was replay A in the system. We need to take a look. Play 6, we see the quarterback. He throws a quick slant, and defender number 26 collides with the receiver, and the pass is incomplete. Now, we get a flag down from our back judge for targeting a defenseless player. And it was a big collision, and we know replay will stop the game to review all targeting fouls. And replay must confirm all aspects of the targeting for the foul to be upheld. And as we go through the process, the receiver is clearly defenseless, so we have the first component. And even though the defender gets his head to the side, there's forcible contact to the head area of the defenseless receiver with the left shoulder of the defender. So we have 2 of the 3. But then as we evaluate the indicator, we see that the defender, he approaches the receiver, initially playing the ball. Maybe at the last moment he plays the receiver, but there's no launch. He stays upright. He doesn't lead with the head. And you really can't confirm an indicator or an attack at 100% level here. So this targeting is properly overturned. It's a big collision, but it's just not targeting. And we support the back judge putting the marker down. This is a very difficult play, but we support the overturn. Play 7 is another kickoff play, and we're going to see as the kicker approaches the ball, we get a kicking team player with a foot down beyond the restraining line, probably over a yard beyond that restraining line, and it's a deep kick. We don't want to get overly technical here, but a foot down and more than a yard downfield, that's enough for a foul. Now remember, on onside kicks, we work them as a plane as opposed to the flexibility we give on deep kicks. But remember the officiating standard change for offside on short kickoffs. When in question, a kicking team player has not broken the plane. We need to see that the kicking team player clearly is breaking the plane on onside kicks to get the marker down. But on deep kicks, a foot down and over a yard beyond the line, we should get the marker out. Our last play this week, we have a kickoff. We see that the kick, it lands just outside the 5-yard line. It bounces high. The receiver then gives a fair catch signal and possesses the ball at the 1-yard line. Now, by rule, we know this is not a fair catch. And even though the signal itself met all the requirements of a valid fair catch signal, the timing of the signal, namely the signal being given after the ball has struck the ground, makes this an invalid fair catch signal. And the play is over when the receiver gains possession, and the signal negates the opportunity for the receiving team to return the kick. Now, the ball is properly spotted at the 1-yard line and is 1st and 10 for the receiving team from there. A very unusual play, but handled properly by the crew. Now, this is not to be confused with the exception that allows that if a receiver gives a waving signal that doesn't meet all the requirements of a valid fair catch signal and subsequently catches the ball behind the 25-yard line, the receiving team's going to put the ball in play at the 25. But that's not what happened here, and this was handled perfectly by the crew. Well, that's it for our plays this week. Things to learn from, but overall excellent officiating for week 0. And as we approach week 1, it's important that we have excellent and thorough pregame meetings. We need to ensure everyone is ready to walk out on the field totally prepared. And remember, we want quality fouls, make it be there. Let's be great dead ball officials. Let's have excellent communication with coaches, players, and other officials. Always use your winning words. Concentration, we've got to give everything we have for 60 minutes and in extra periods if that's required. And finally, display your integrity, courage, and poise. That's so important. Let the tight situations reveal your true character. Best of luck to all, and let's keep hustling.